Welcome back to another episode of Titans Time. I'm your host, Tanner Staggs. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Tyler Staggs. We've got a special guest with us today, the 2007 Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year and former Tennessee Titans linebacker, Gerald McRath. Gerald, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, guys. How you about yourself?
We're doing great.
Yep,
Tyler,
doing
how about
good.
you?
I'm doing good.
We've got some questions for you today, so we'll just kind of kick that off, and then we also want to get your opinion. Since you played linebacker in the NFL, on kind of your expectations for the Titans linebackers going into next season. I don't know how much you keep up with the team nowadays. I'm not sure. Do you keep up with them much?
Yeah, I do. I'm an advocate for fantasy football thanks to my neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, the guys in my neighborhood. So that first year that I drafted a kicker in the second round, they still haven't. No, I drafted. Yeah, kicker in the second round. I drafted Marcellus Bennett in the first round, and then the kicker in the second round. They're still not letting me live that down.
Oh man.
Oh man. That's okay. When we started up our league, we finally grew it to a 10-man league. But we started back when I was still in high school, and Tanner, he's my younger brother, and he
man, I was just little. Little.
He told us, he was like, man, I'm gonna destroy y'all. And then and he hasn't won the league yet, so
it's tough, man. You got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to know the ins and outs of pretty much everything, and that's really why I liked it. It just gave me a reason to pay attention a little bit more. And so so I've been keeping track with the Titans here for probably about the past 4 or 5 years or so.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I got it here. You played 4 seasons at Southern Miss, and you finished college with 386 total tackles, 7.5 sacks, and then a pick 6. I mean, those are some pretty impressive stats. And then, of course, you were drafted. Was it the 4th round?
Yep.
By the Titans. So in the 4th round. And that kind of leads me into my first question. This is just something that I've kind of always wondered. What's the NFL scouting combine like? Can you kind of give us like an insider perspective of what it's like as a player?
Yeah, I sure can. If you ever been to a car auction or a farmer's market,
yeah. I kind of get the vibe that you're talking about.
Those flea markets where you're trying to find the best deal and everybody is out there, asking you to come which your way. It is just like that. It is crazy. It's to talk about to a friend of mine. It felt like they were herding cattle, because you're walking around with like a number. And you got people like coming up, like some people won't even talk to you. Some people just look at you and just and see what your number is. And then they're looking at a sheet and they're looking at a car like, okay, this is not the person I need.
Oh, well.
Man, I'm telling you what, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's one of those things where a lot of kids really would love to go to the combine, but I'm gonna be honest, being a former player, it can play out to some benefits that you don't go, just because of the short term. Like it's February-ish. A lot of seasons are ending around December, January, so you really don't have like a month and a half or so to get ready for that. For that essential pro day, to where most pro days, college pro days, are going to be around March, late March, April. You really don't see anything past the draft or anything like that, but you see a lot of pro days in the later dates. Those really give you ample amount of time to get yourself where you need to be to showcase your best talent. So that combine is good in some sense. It works to the advantage of some players. And then it's some other players, it can kind of hurt them. for me, it was beneficial because I came out my redshirt junior year. So I actually had another year, so I couldn't go to the Senior Bowl. So the combine was awesome for me to be able to showcase my talents and things of that nature. And you kind of, get to go to that combine, you kind of get your footing. You kind of know what to expect when it comes back for pro day. But the logistics of it, the schematics of it, it's awesome because you're going to get to meet a lot of players in the national rankings that you're competing with for a draft spot. So you make friendships, not only possible potential teammates, but even opponents. A lot of guys that you see at the combine and they get drafted to their respective teams, man, that camaraderie, that friendship that you get between guys that carries over from city to city that you travel. So that's always a good thing as far as building relationships in the league going to that combine. But I'm telling you what, man, it's a surreal job interview. It's a real job interview.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like an unreal experience. I know me and Tyler, we want to go see it just as fans one day. We think it would be really cool to just go experience it. You definitely performed well at the combine. You were the fastest of all the linebackers, running a 4.59. So, and that's pretty fast for a linebacker. So, Tyler, I know that you building.
Was it a 4.59 or 4.49?
4.49.
Was it a 4.4? Oh, sorry.
4.49. I'm about to say, I'm going to give him his credit there.
Hey, I'm taking away a little bit of credit there,
4.63. I didn't get that initial confirmation until later on. But yeah. So 4.4, 4.49, 4.53 ish. So the crazy thing about that is you guys want to go see it, but man, you do so much stuff. The football stuff doesn't happen until the last bit of it. Like, it's so much other stuff that goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go get a physical and
physical, man. You're doing physical, bench press, interviews nightly. There are job cert, like you do the Wonderlic test and some other job training tests, like those tests where you have like 300 questions and it's about, okay, this details you agree, disagree, strongly, things of that nature. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it on the day-to-day basis. And the crazy part about that is that football aspect happens on the last day that you're there.
Wow. And do you interview with like almost every team, or how many teams do you interview with during that process?
It depends on who wants you. The GMs, coaching staffs, head coaches, all of those guys are there. Scouts are there. So you might have an interview with 2 teams, but then there's a location in that train station where scouts just from different teams, they're coming and grabbing you. Like, you might hang around and like, hey, can I come talk to you for a second? And it goes back to a guy sitting there with a notepad looking for numbers, and he's looking around to see, okay, who's the guy that I need, and he's bringing you aside, and they're asking you questions, making sure their information lines up with the current information that you have and things of that nature. So I mean, it's a crazy ordeal, man. Crazy ordeal. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, for kids that have that aspiration to play. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then for fans, it's a great experience to see the next generation of players come into the league.
Well, that's amazing, man. We'd like to see it sometime.
Yeah, I can only imagine because, like you said, it is like a job interview for anyone going there. And, for like me and Tanner and other people like that, we go and for a job interview, we may interview once, we may interview 3 times, but y'all, it's like a whole week and an everyday thing where, you're having to go through that.
I couldn't imagine. It's got to be nerve-wracking.
It is. Right, it is. It's not as worse as the draft because you can do something. That element of you control your
Yeah.
destiny,
Right.
your input. So it's a lot better than sitting around with the draft by any means. But it's definitely neat though. It's a neat ordeal. It is a neat ordeal.
I'll go on and jump into my first question for you. So, rookie year 2009, and you get to come in, and it is Keith Bulluck's and Jevon Kearse's last year that they would be with the Titans. And I was born in 93. So by the time, they had their Super Bowl run and then drafting Keith Bulluck and having them on the team, I was really starting to watch it. And those are two of the guys that really made me fall in love with watching the Titans. And, me and Tanner both had our top 5 Titans of all time. And, like I said, those were two guys that made my list. I think Kearse was number 3 on my list and Bulluck was number 1. What was it like playing with those guys and just seeing them in practice every day and their leadership, everything like that?
It's a surreal moment. I'm an '86 baby. I've been playing football since I was 5 years old. I've been involved in football since then till now. I tell people all the time, one thing about for me, football. I mean, for me to be able to play in the NFL, that was a dream come true. Like I was always a fan of the game before I played. So it's crazy for me to be where I'm at now because when I was playing, I was a fan, but still an athlete and a player. But even when I'm done, since I've retired and I'm not, haven't been able to go back, I'm still a fan of the game. I'm still a fan. Like, I love, like, Keith Bulluck. Like, man, you mentioned Keith, you mentioned Jevon, but you also got to mention Tony Brown, TB, that was on that team. David Thornton, who was a big mentor that we got. They picked up David in free agency, if I'm not mistaken, because David went to the Colts. And then David Thornton, so then we got him. And then you had Stephen Tulloch in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey, a monster. Like, he was a monster in the middle. Man, to go to a team of that caliber, of that locker room leadership, because Kevin Maguire still was in there. Hall of Famer, man. Like, Kevin Maguire was in that locker room as well, man. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. And I can say that because you got established coach with Jeff Fisher, and the way that things were ran in that locker room, man, it was player-led, man. It was player-led leadership, man. Those guys showed up every single day. Those guys held not only the older guys, but definitely the younger guys to a higher standard of workmanship and of responsibility. If you're gonna play alongside us, hey man, you gotta pull your weight. And so it was awesome for me and for my NFL experience. You always think about the school that you go to, and you want to make sure that you got great teachers. So you can get the wisdom and you can learn and you can make the most out of the opportunities you got. And man, those two guys right there, Jevon and Keith Bulluck, you can't mention the Titans without mentioning them. Now, don't get me wrong, it goes back to the Oilers organization. There's plenty of guys that you can name, but when you're talking about the team making its way, coming to Nashville, playing games in Memphis, playing games at the Vanderbilt Stadium, you cannot mention the Tennessee Titans and not mention Keith Bulluck or Jevon Kearse. And those guys, it was just amazing to watch them in person. It's crazy. I was watching the Super Bowl. I'm from Atlanta. We watched the Super Bowl. We threw a Super Bowl party because we were living in Atlanta. when that game was.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that to this day. I remember watching the Music City Miracle. I was watching that on TV. I can remember where I was at. I can remember my dad, my mom being in the kitchen, and we are like, just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and so like it's just so crazy. Like I was a huge Eddie George fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge Eddie George fan, man. I was, so it was just amazing to see those guys up close in person. And I'm saying that from a player standpoint because I know as a fan standpoint, it was amazing for me as a fan to be like, oh my God, like it's Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Monday Night, like he comes out with the red gloves. I'm like, man, it's just like, and you watch him sideline, and then you get the freak, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I was playing you on a video game, man. Like,
That's how we feel every day. That's the closest we get to it is either going to the games or the video games. So
yeah, and we got lucky, your rookie year and their last year. We actually went to the week 2 matchup versus the Texans, and
great game. Great game.
Yeah, I had to look back at that game just the other day, and I was like, man, all the points that they scored pretty much came in the first half of that game. And, Chris Johnson had the 69-yard receiving touchdown where he went out to the side and no one decided to cover him. And that play was so funny. It sticks out to me because I actually went to that game with my best friend. And then after I found that out, it was a couple of days later, our mom and dad decided to get tickets and, get Tanner a ticket. And, my best friend was sitting there and he didn't really believe all the hype around Chris Johnson's speed. And we seen that play and seen how a lot of defenders had the angle on him and he just outran the angle. And that kind of leads me into my next question for you. What was it like going up against, if you did get to go up against them in practice, Vince Young and Chris Johnson, and really having to see that speed on the field and trying to contain him?
I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Chris Johnson went to a school called East Carolina.
Yeah.
Southern Miss. And East Carolina was in Conference USA with Southern Miss. So I saw So when they drafted, so that year that I was, it would have been the year I was Defensive Player of the Year. That's the year that Chris Johnson got drafted. And Chris Johnson was, I want to say, Special Teams Player of the Year. He had like over 2,000 all-purpose, probably over 2,500 all-purpose yards. And I have seen Chris Johnson single-handedly beat my team. And the only touchdown they scored was by him running a kickoff return back. So Chris Johnson, if you and it's on YouTube, you guys can look it up. Chris Johnson takes a kickoff return in the second half for a touchdown. That's the only touchdown that they scored in that game, and they beat us. I'm telling you, right, we had some fast guys on that team. When I tell you he walked away from guys, he walked away. So,
hey, if that's the only touchdown they scored, I mean, I'm guessing you contained him pretty well then.
But they didn't. I'm telling you like this: East Carolina didn't use him the way that the Tennessee Titans used him. I was not surprised to see Chris Johnson go as high as he did, and I wasn't surprised to see him have the success that he did. I mean, he is phenomenal, and then just going against a guy like that every single day, it only makes you better. Especially for me, when you got a guy, it's almost like, I know a lot of Titans can probably say the same thing right now about Derrick Henry. When you got to see a guy like that, then who you gonna be afraid of on Sunday?
Right.
Like if you see speed like that change of direction, you can pretty much face anybody at that point.
Right.
at the level that CJ2K was playing on. Speaking about Vince, I spoke about this earlier to somebody else, but what a competitor. What a competitor. What a competitor. I'm a defensive player. I'm a linebacker. There's a lot that goes on mentally. But that dog that Vince has, it is priceless. It is priceless. It's what made him the competitor that he was. It's what brought him the success that he had in his not only his youth league career, his high school career, his college career. Like, you definitely could see, like, when Vince stepped on the field, he had that mindset that I'm going to outwork everybody every single day at that position. At that position that you can have that type of impact from. And it feeds a lot of guys, man. It feeds a lot of guys. It feeds you. I mean, not only on defense, going against them in practice, not only is he going to make you better, but when he's playing other teams on Sunday, man, you can't do nothing but root for him. And you can't do nothing but cheer him on when you know the work that he put in Monday through Sunday. To get there. So, man, a great competitor. I'm blessed to be able to play with him. He's another one of those guys who, I'm in college, I'm watching him and Reggie Bush play one of the greatest NCAA national championship games ever to be played. I'm watching that game and just like, oh my gosh, like, so it's a dream come true. It's like I hit the lottery twice. I hit the lottery to get drafted, but then I also hit the lottery as a fan of football to be able to witness history, and to witness some of the game's greatest players to ever play the game. It's just amazing. Those two guys are definitely Titans for sure, man, and they work their butts off daily.
And just, I mean, kind of for you to walk in your rookie year and look around and see these guys, and you're playing for the same team, you're in the same organization. It's just kind of like that realization, like, hey, I've made it. I'm here.
Not necessarily that I made it, but more so that, okay, I got work I got to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a better way to look at it.
One of those things where you step in the locker room and you're looking around and these guys, like, they want it. And if you don't want it, you're not going to be there. You're not going to be there. So it is put up or shut up when you get around guys like that and you get into a locker room with vets and that have the respect not only in the locker room, but they got respect from guys around the league who they play against as well. So that means a lot. That means a lot is when you're bringing young guys in and understanding, okay, hey, let's go. Like, you're a part of us. We're glad to have you, but hey, we're going to work. You made it to the league, but we got work we got to do. And that defensive mindset was huge, man. That was something that I enjoyed. I hate that as I played with the Titans, man, we won some games, but there was a lot of games that we left out there on the field. And I wish I could get those games back because I think the Titan fans deserve nothing but the greatest. But, man, being a part of that defense was special for me at that time. I'm very proud of what we were doing week in and week out. Minus the New England game in the snow. We're not going to talk about that one, but other than that.
I kind of want to set the scene for you here and see if you can recall this. You're a rookie and you're playing the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's week 14, maybe week 15. Matt Hasselbeck is at quarterback.
Last week of the season.
Oh, last week of the season. Matt Hasselbeck's a quarterback who you would later be teammates with. Your first career interception as a rookie, coming against such a great quarterback like Matt Hasselbeck. What is it like to in the NFL? I mean, the one of the biggest stages of football, to get your first NFL interception and against such a great quarterback?
I'm gonna tell you guys this. That's one moment that I look back and like, why didn't I try to score? It was the end of the game, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I told nobody. I didn't tell anybody this because I picked that, and I just fell to the ground. I'm like, that's game. But I know that was the game that CJ was trying to break the record, and I was thinking if I could get on the ground, he could get another. He can get another crack at it.
What a teammate, man! What a teammate.
There you go.
In my mind, when I picked it. As I got older and you realize that is like once in a lifetime opportunity, why didn't I try school? But man, it was moments like those when you play the game. I think a lot of players can tell you, man, things happen so quickly, and it's not until the game is over and you kind of decompose and decompress that it actually dawns on you what really happened.
I just got an interception.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, it's a dream come true, man. I'm not gonna lie about it because it might be somebody little listening to me right now. Man, that's something that you dream of. It's something that you dream of. You play, I played sandlot football back in the day, and I'm like, I'm Emmitt Smith, and I hit a spin, and I'm going for the end zone, and as a defender to get an interception in the NFL, your rookie year, last game of the season, that put us at 500, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it did, yeah.
I think so.
It's just a blessing, man. It's a humbling, grateful feeling. One of those things that, everything that you did, every extra sprint, or every time you pushed yourself harder, or every time you stood up, for what you thought was going to be the best move for you, it's just like one of those things. It just pays off, man. It's almost like a parent, man. It's a parent, and you raise a kid, and you see your kid graduate from high school, and you're just like, everything, you just appreciate everything. You appreciate the hard times. You appreciate the good times. It was a surreal moment for me. It was a surreal moment. It was amazing. It was amazing. It happened and went away too quickly. Man, it was just amazing, man. It was amazing.
You ever tease Hasselbeck about that when you guys were teammates?
Tell you what, man, Hasselbeck has all the respect for me. He when he came in, he actually mentioned he came to me and was like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying not to throw you no more picks." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take one or two if you want to give them."
Sure.
But man, it was amazing, man. It was amazing, and it was just it was a nice icebreaker to be able to play for some, to have him come with the Titans. I mean, it was pretty awesome. That was dope. That was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah. Well, I'll kind of feed off of that and see. I believe throughout your career with the Titans, you finished your career with like 1.5 sacks, or got credited with 1.5 sacks. The half sack that you were credited with was in week 13 of the 2010 season versus the division rival Jags on David Garrard.
Pull that up, man, because I sure got there with them. I think they gave C. Hope some of that. Chris Hope.
Yeah.
And then, man.
And then just 2 weeks later, against another division rival, the Texans, you got the credit for the full sack on Matt Schaub. And I'm just wondering, do those stick out to you as much as like the interception does? It being your first sacks in the NFL.
The sack versus Matt Schaub, because oh man, oh my God, I remember like it was yesterday. And the crazy thing about it was when I got back when we watched it on the game film as a team, Coach McGinnis, Coach Mack was like, "You see this? Knock that ball out." I'm like, "You're right, Coach. You're right." And so oh man, oh God. I mean, it all, it all is amazing. It's not one thing is better than the other. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's nothing like coming out the tunnel, and you're coming out the tunnel. We got fans on both sides, and they are going nuts, and we're getting ready for kickoff, and you got the people in the end zone or whatever end. We're getting ready to kick the ball, kicking the ball off, and they are fired up. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
I can only imagine the energy that it gives you.
The plays are awesome. Football is football. I've been, like I said, I've been playing football since I was 5. So I've been playing plays, offense and defense and special teams since I was 5 years old. But man, that atmosphere, man, the energy, the pride that you have to be able to say, you know what, I'm representing the way I play is how you're speaking, is how the fans get a chance to speak. When I play games, it got to the point to where, man, I'm living a dream, but I'm not just living my dream. I'm living dreams for any Tennessee Titans fans that ever, anybody that ever dreamed about being able to put the helmet on and stepping on the field, whether you could do it or not, and that goes back to what I was telling you guys before. I've always been a fan of the game. I've always been a fan of the game. And so those moments are just priceless. The picks, the interceptions, the sacks, those are bragging rights when you're done. Those are things that when you go back to the boys and guys and, you're coaching Little League football, you can tell them like, hey, I had such and such, da-da-da. But, man, the camaraderie, being on the field with those guys, man, and the communication that you have, and you make a tackle and the fans just go crazy, and you can feel it on your skin. You get goosebumps, like your hairs jump out, and you are just pumped like you drank a 6-pack of Red Bull. Like, it is amazing.
I'm getting pumped right now.
Yeah, I must say, just hearing it from you right now, like
just, and so, to play a snap, just one snap, that's what we all dream about as NFL players, man. Guys trying to make the team, guys trying to make a roster. You're looking for that. You're chasing that. You're chasing that feel. You're chasing that that passion, that opportunity, because we don't know what's going to happen. You might not get no sacks. You might not get no tackles. But to be a part of the game, man, that's priceless, man. That's priceless. That's priceless.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you're getting me fired up right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to go throw the football around in the backyard. But let's see. Tyler, you go ahead and ask one. I don't have anything right now.
All right. So in the division at the time when you were in the league, what was it like playing against guys like Peyton Manning, Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, Maurice Jones-Drew, Dallas Clark, and, just all of those guys? Those are guys that when we had to play them, I didn't actually play the games. Just as a fan, it kept me up at night like, oh, man, we got these guys tomorrow.
Do you have any moments in specific about some of those, great players that were in the division that just kind of like pop out to you?
Peyton Manning is the best quarterback of all time that I've ever played against, ever in my life.
Man.
Ever in my life. Ever in my life. He's the greatest of all time. I'm telling you this. I've never seen a quarterback that can make an impact on a game the way that he did. And the knowledge of the game, the knowledge, not only of the game, but of his opponents. His opponents. We ran a play, and I remember this to this day. I ain't calling no names, but we had a blitz on, and all week long we had worked on not moving. You got to just, because you got to give him a shell. You can't show him. He's so smart. He knows cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, just based on your alignment. So everything had to be based. Man, we had a guy flinch. He just flinched. Peyton Manning called. He checked the line of scrimmage, checked the offensive line, checked his wide receivers, and he threw the ball off like that. And
That's unbelievable.
At that point in time, I knew he was the greatest of all time. But as a new younger guy in the league, you still like, okay, yeah, I can, he's good, but he can't be all that great. You're seeing Eric Decker, you're seeing Tammy to the Pro Bowl, guys that nobody ever heard of. Peyton Manning was putting that thing where only his receivers could get it, and I've never seen somebody dictate a game the way that he dictated the game. I've just never seen it. Teams were probably thinking, okay, we're going to play Peyton Manning. He can't get the ball in 2 minutes because they're going to score.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand. Back when Peyton Manning was playing, that defense was not as great. They were good, but because Peyton Manning was putting points up on people, Tampa 2 was awesome. So we're just going to sit back because you guys have to throw the ball now because we got Peyton Manning who's going to drive the ball down, and everything is going to be like a 2-minute drill for the full game. Not only did they had is it Adadi? Who's the running back?
Joseph Adai.
Joseph Adai.
Joseph Adai? Oh my gosh. Oh, man. So like that, the conference was awesome. And then you go to Houston, and that's like a college rivalry, which a lot of people might not know. That is a college rivalry. That was like a college rivalry. The Jazz game is like a rivalry. The Colts game is like a rivalry. But that Houston game, oh my gosh. Oh man. You're talking about first of all, you got Andre Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That's Andre Johnson.
That's all you got to say right there.
Yep.
And then Aaron Foster, who came out in the same draft with me, he reinvented himself. And a lot of UT fans remember him because he was a monster at UT.
Mm-hmm.
He was a monster at UT. So, the matchups, it was the NFL. When I play, and right now, like you guys know, you do fantasy football every week. You're gonna have chance for points because you got studs on your team, and it's just good. That is good for the game. It's good not only for the game but the fans. The division games meant something. They meant something. Not only did they mean something, but you're getting 2 times. And nothing was easy. I can tell you that. And it was no easy games. But just thinking off the top of my head, best player, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, I told a lot of my friends and my family members that they were asking me that at the time that Peyton didn't play that 1 year that they had Painter at quarterback. If I'm not mistaken.
Curtis Painter, I think.
Yeah. And so I was telling a lot of guys, I was like, Payne could have won the MVP. And they were like, what do you mean? He didn't play. I said, I know. They just went from where they were to winning one game just because of one person.
Yep.
Yeah.
That shows you the impact that Peyton Manning had on that franchise and on that team. And I till this day, he's the greatest quarterback I've had a chance to play against or with.
You look at it, and right after that, he goes to Denver and automatically transforms them just like that with the snap of a finger. One thing that we mentioned earlier that I do want to ask you about, you had mentioned playing special teams throughout your career, and I just want to know, uh, can you kind of speak on the importance of special teams and how important it is to have good special teams players? Because I think that kind of gets overlooked sometimes.
It does, and it's crazy that you say that because as I've been watching, as I've been doing my fantasy football, and I've been watching more football games that you never get a chance to watch. Um, they don't show special teams plays. They
Yeah,
don't show the punt returns or the kickoffs, and things of that nature. They show field goals, but they don't show you the energy that you generate from special teams play is amazing. And that's one thing that I think a lot of Titan fans can definitely speak of if you, especially in the time that I was playing, if you were going to the games, because to see Mark Mariani take, kickoff return to the house
yeah,
Yep.
and that nature of punt return, like, man, those are some key moments. And the last time, you had Patman Jones that, very big in special teams here in Tennessee. And I mean, special teams plays a huge point, not only just your returners, but for defense as well. The game has definitely changed with some of the rule changes to kind of limit some of the impacts. But you guys know, like I know, in the time that I was playing, those rules weren't there. And
yeah.
so, man, you run it down on kickoff, you hit somebody and make the ball come
Hmm.
loose. I mean that is a game changer.
Yeah, that can shift the momentum.
It shifts the momentum. We played Philly at Tennessee, and we got a fumble. We recovered a fumble on a punt, and so those things add to the atmosphere of the game, to the overall enjoyment of the game, um, not only for your team but for your fans. And the NFL, the roster's 53, not 53 men are dressed on Sundays. So you got guys who got to fill in. You got
Hmm.
wide receivers, you got linebackers, you got defensive ends, you got tight ends, you got fullbacks, you got running backs, you got guys that we all have to contribute to the special team. So, um, I volunteer coach football, and that's one of the biggest things that I try to iterate to all young kids. They name special teams for a reason. It's special,
Hmm.
and so I think a lot of guys in the NFL, I think if you played in the NFL or if you play any type of college ball or you understand the importance of special teams and what that means as far as wins and losses are concerned. And I think for fans, I think we definitely can understand the excitement that you can generate, from a punt return, kickoff return, big hit on a punt, big hit on a kickoff, and all of those things. Field goals as well.
And
Right.
it's
And I
something that
mean, with special teams, that's how a lot of guys are able to make that final roster. And, that's something that me and Tanner were talking about earlier. They're talking now like maybe taking away a couple preseason games. And we were asking each other what, our thoughts were on that. And for me, you know, it kind of feels like some of these guys that are scratching and clawing trying to make the team, if they do that, it's fixing to make it a lot harder on them because, teams really can't get together right now. Everything's, virtual. And, if you can't go to practice and training camps and make a name for yourself, or if the preseason gets cut down from 4 games to 2 games, your time to really make a name for yourself and make that final roster is cut down tremendously.
Right, right. And it's crazy because even with COVID, I was thinking about this the other day. With COVID, we're kind of getting back to kind of when the last CBA hit, and there were some dates that it kind of overlaid into OTAs and getting ready for your upcoming season in the off season. So, the thing that happened there, you draft guys, you draft undrafted free agents or guys that get drafted in the later round. But when you finally get to the field, you got to give those reps to the older guys and to the guys who, you know, if you had to play tomorrow, who would be the guys that you're going to put out there? So a lot of kids, a lot of younger guys who would normally have those chances, if you got those opportunities, those snaps to, you know, show yourself, they didn't get those opportunities. And so the same thing, you know, I agree with what you guys are saying. You never know who's going to show up, man. You know, practice is practice. You know, practice is practice, which is great, you know, and you can gauge a lot. You know, if you can do it in practice, then you should be able to do it in the game. But until you can see it in the game, you can't really tell who's going to be what, or who's making strides, or, you know, who can we add, or who do we need to let go. So that's the toughest part. You know, it's just the toughest part.
And, you know, I mean, one thing to mention, Christian Fulton, who the Titans just drafted in the second round. This is a guy I think that with the right offseason preparation, and of course this is the same for all the rookies, but, you know, with the right offseason preparation and the preseason to prepare, this is a guy that could be a potential defensive rookie of the year. But, you know, you take away a couple preseason games and don't give him as much time to practice with the team, and all of a sudden you're there first game of the regular season, and you're like, this kid hasn't had that much time to play. It's almost like we have to put Jonathan Joseph out there, who we've just picked up.
The best thing about it is everybody's under the same. Everybody's going through.
Everybody has the same circumstances.
Everybody has the same circumstances. That's the best thing about it. That's the best thing about it. A guy like that, like I said, nobody's going to be able to know who can do what to what level, or who needs what. You know, it might not even be, okay, he can't do this. It might not be that. It may be he needs a little bit of time. He can do this. He just needs time at it. And so we're going to get into that. But the best thing about that is everybody's underneath those circumstances. The good thing about the Titans, you're bringing your whole offense. You pretty much bring your whole offense.
Yeah, I mean.
Right.
So you're picking up and you're moving where you left off. We'll get into the linebackers. We'll talk about in a little bit when you guys ask me. But that's a key point. And that secondary. And then you're looking at this front line. Man, if you guys got wood, knock on wood, that we can get Clowney.
Yeah.
that changes. You know, that really can change a lot. And that pass rush, you got Big Beasley. That we got. You got Big Jeff that's going to be there. Yeah, we lost Casey. That is definitely a big blow as far as leadership. Not only leadership, but man, constant production and consistency from a position and from a guy, you know, from a guy in a time where it was needed the most. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but that offensive side hopefully the offense can click the way they need to, which is going to be huge for pretty much any team in the NFL right now. Your offense needs to be clicking, because that's all about timing. And then defense, man, that's a great defensive staff that they got out there with the Titans. They got the right guys, the guys are already on board and stuff like that. So, you know, it's gonna make more reason to just watch every single game and be in tune to them.
Tyler, we'll take one more piece here before we talk about the linebackers.
Guys, give me 1 second. I need to make sure my computer doesn't die on me.
Okay.
All right.
I got a notification from Zoom, and it said that they were like extending the 40-minute thing.
Okay, here we go. I'm good.
All right, Tanner, you want to ask your?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. first of all, and this is just a little. This is not my what I was going to ask, but when you were at, I think you were at Berry College for some time, right?
Yep.
Were you there at the same time as Mason Kinsey?
He wasn't there. I know his coach. I know what that program stands on. I'm gonna tell you this right there. They produce great athletes, and Coach K is one fine man. He is one fine man. He loves what he does. He changed that program that Berry College didn't even have football, and he turned that program. Upside down and back up right the right way. And I mean, I just tell you right now, I'm so anxious to see this kid. I'm so anxious to see this kid. I think this kid is going to be a great steal, a great worker, great special teams guy. One of those guys, man. I'm excited. These are the kids that you want to make sure that you're following. That you make sure that you seen them from day one. You know, I can say that because, man, Jason McCourtney drafted in the later rounds, same draft class I was in. And, you know, he's still playing to this day. Great guy. And then you look at Mark Mariani. I remember when he came in late. Mm-hmm. So you see this a lot in the NFL. And guys like that, guys who go undrafted free agent or go late, they have that chip on the shoulder that nobody can take away. Nobody can ever take that away. And the work ethic and what you get from these players is going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. So those are guys, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm telling you, that's a kid that I'm definitely looking for to be watching. And I'm hoping like we were talking about the preseason games, man, I'm hoping we get preseason games to give him that opportunity. You know, it goes back to what you guys were saying. It's kids like that needs those opportunities to show what they can do. He might run down on kickoff and might tackle. He might make 3 tackles on special teams. And that, you know, that may be enough. You know, you don't know. You don't know until you get those opportunities. But I'll tell you what, coming from that from Berry College and that program that Coach K runs down there, you're getting one heck of a player.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the undrafted free agents that I'm most excited about. What I was going to ask you is, you mentioned earlier, you know, when you got your interception, you just kind of dropped to the ground because, you know, you think about Chris Johnson and he's trying to break 2,000 yards. Do you have any other stories about that year with Chris Johnson and, you know, just people kind of acknowledging him, trying to get to 2,000?
Man, that's so crazy, man. That freshman, man, that rookie year was just so phenomenal, man. It was so phenomenal. It was crazy. We lost some games to be thrown in my rookie year. You know, 49ers, you know, we played Miami. Golly, man, I was just trying to pull my weight every single day. I didn't even really care about the offense as far as what they were doing, you know, during the week. Now, not saying Sunday, but like during the week, like I was so focused, like, man, I got to make sure I know my playbook. I got to make sure I know where I need to be, you know, especially if I'm going to get to play. So, man, it's just it's so real. Like, it's crazy because it's like it just went by. Like, it just went by so fast. My rookie year feels like a blur. Like, it does. It does. And it's crazy because we opened up in Pittsburgh. And you guys might remember that game in 2009 to open up the NFL season. I think that was Thursday night.
Thursday night football, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, and it came down to the end of the game. So, you know, just to start, you start your NFL career like that. I mean, and that rookie year, man, was amazing. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. Like, you sit on the sideline, and it's crazy because a lot of runs, a lot of CJ stuff, you're a defensive player, you don't get to see the play, you know. You don't get to see the play. You know, like sometimes you might get to watch a play, but you're so busy and focused on getting the upgrade, you know, getting the information for defense. And then if, you know, once second down hits, you're already starting to move. If you're on special teams to get where you gotta go, you're constantly moving. But like, man, it just would be, we're sitting there, I'm getting some water, and then the whole stadium just goes nuts. And then you look up to the scoreboard and you watching CJ just outrun everybody. And you just, okay, yeah. You know, I've seen, you know, I remember going down to Buffalo and CJ he took one to the crib Buffalo. And it's so, man, like I said, it's crazy. It's so hard for me to describe it. The passion, the love, the desire, because of the fan, the fan that's in me, you know, like it's just amazing, man. Like, golly, you guys are bringing up some memories. One of my
we're reminiscing here, man.
You're asking about some games, man. I can tell you my first start. We go to DT, David Thornton. You know, he was playing, and you know, you never know. You come out with the inactives, and this is the first time that I realized that they actually make decisions like literally right before the game. I'm out on the field in San Francisco, and we're warming up, and I'm just out there stretching. You know, I'm just on the field, you know, getting ready, you know, not thinking anything of it, you know. And Coach McGinnis comes up to me and like, starting. Talking to me? Okay. Okay. 45 minutes right before the game.
I mean, it's one of those things where you've got to prepare every game like you're gonna be starting.
That was real life. Man, that was like a real life teaching moment for me, like that, and it was so oh my God, it was amazing, man. Like he just walked up to me like, you started, and I had no clue.
No clue. You're looking behind you, like, all right, is he talking to someone behind me, or who's he talking to here?
Like, but the crazy, and like I said, that's a huge learning moment, because that could have been a great story or a terrible story, depending on how I treat it, which is, you know, I mean, to this day, I'm just thankful for I'm thankful for my parents and everything that they taught me, and anybody else, man, just to make sure you're doing exactly what you need to do, because that was a moment that, you know, it's like, all right, let's go.
Yep.
That was the coolest thing. Story that might not be as funny, but it really happened though, real life. My rookie year, we were playing the Jets, and this is when it was a throwback game. So we were wearing the throwback Oilers jerseys. And so we're playing in New York. I get into the stadium, and I'm getting to my locker, and I see my jersey, and on the back it says MCGR. ATH. It says McRath. And so I'm like looking around like, like, man, y'all funny. Like, I know like, I wouldn't even, you know, it didn't bother me. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, this is a cool rookie joke. Like, this is awesome. I take it like, okay, I'm like, hey, I need my jersey. It was like, what are you talking about? I said, this is not right. They were like, what? Like, no, like, I don't have a G in my name. And like, literally, they like stitched my name in the locker room right before we went on field. Crazy story, but it's true. It's true. It really did happen. So.
Well, I'm gonna, I guess, change the pace a little bit here before we talk about the expectations for the linebackers. And I think I'm remembering this correct. You know, me and Tanner both watched the videos that you done with Mr. Titan. He's a friend of our show. He's been on before, and
great guy.
If I recall, He is. You like playing Madden, correct?
Oh, I love it.
Now, do you mainly just do like the ultimate team? Do you play like franchise? Do you just play online? What do you do there?
I do it all.
Do it all.
This is the first year. I'm gonna be honest. This is the first year I got into the ultimate team, and I'll tell you why. Because I do franchises with a bunch of buddies, guys that played football, college, professionally, or whatever. We got a group, and that like since I've been a coach, that really changed. Everything has changed the dynamics. The way that we used to play the game is totally different now because we're older now. A lot of us coach and things of that nature. So, we play on 10-minute. It's we got rules and stipulations and things of that nature, and the camaraderie is just amazing. Like when we're not playing, we're still talking and we're chatting throughout the day. So what happened was, we are so competitive that when we get to the playoffs, we have to wait for every playoff game to be played. And so, just guys, our schedules don't line up and a lot of stuff. And so we would just be waiting around and I'd just be sitting there bored. And so I'm like, man, let me just try something new. And I got into the ultimate team and it is amazing,
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I know we play it quite a bit, and we actually have a online franchise, which ours we just have 4 people in, and then the rest is against the computer. But I'm so competitive with the game that Tanner and then the other guys we have in there, they give me a hard time because even against the computer, I'm playing the whole game because I'm like, like I'm a big defensive guy too, and I'm like, no, I want my defense to stop them. Like I can't just simulate the game. And how you rate your skills? I mean, where would you say, how good are you really?
Before or after I started? Because man, when I first started playing Ultimate Team, I was not so good. Now I feel like I'm midway. I feel like it's not a given game. I don't feel like I'm a easy win or loss. I think I can play good games. Oh man, now my play calling. Now, if you want to ask me my play calling, I'm gonna tell you my play calling is the best. Like it's the best out there. Now, guys actually executing what I'm calling.
Yeah. Hey, I completely understand that. I can be, playing and I'll have, my defensive plays that I call, and all of a sudden one of my guys will get beat and I'm like, wait, I know where you were supposed to be. Why were you not there? And that's one thing, Tanner, I haven't played many online games besides our franchise, but he was pushing me. He was like, you need to do this. He was like, you're beating all of us in this online franchise. And, that's something I was going to say to you. We may have to fire up a game sometime.
We can do an ultimate. Like I recently, like I tried to wait until, most of the cards and everything came out before I started doing like an all theme team. And I think that was the coolest thing this year. Not only with having the draft here in Tennessee and Titans doing what they did this year, and just a lot of stuff happened to where, man, playing I really started working on an all times theme team, and it's that has been so much refreshing and fulfilling playing people online that everybody wants to play with Lamar Jackson, or everybody wants to play with Saquon Barkley, and nobody wants to play with AJ Brown. You got Mason. I love playing it. I mean, it's fun. It is fun. It is definitely fun.
Yeah, I know I haven't done the ultimate team as much. I've got on it and messed around a couple times, but I hadn't really built up a team. But, even just playing regular online games with the current rosters and all of that, a lot of these people that you see that are really good, they're using Lamar Jackson or they're using the Chiefs and Mahomes. And, me going into it, I'm like, I'm going to bring the Titans into it. And
I'm going to run Titans playbook.
Yep. See what I can do with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown and, even Jayon Brown on the defensive side, so.
You playing on Xbox or PS4?
On PS. I'm a PS.
There we go. There we go.
Now, let me tell you this. When I was in the league, I bought the Xbox because the league, our locker room was split like 50. It was split like, and it was crazy because it got to the point to where we were all playing Call of Duty, but half the guys would be like, "Oh, well, you guys ain't playing on Xbox, so you guys ain't playing nobody." So I'm like, "Okay, well, let me buy Xbox and I'm gonna play with you guys."
Yep.
I'm a PS guy, man. I'm definitely a PS guy all day.
Yeah, for sure. Right before we get into this, I just got to ask you, are there like former teammates or former players in the NFL that you made a friendship with that you still keep up with them like regularly to this day?
Man, pretty much most of the guys that, I play with, the best thing about being a Titan, man, is the ownership, from Bud Adams to definitely Amy Adams-Struck. And she's doing a fantastic job of keeping the alumni involved. You guys know they do the homecoming weekend every year, and that has been so amazing. It's been so amazing. And I went to the first one, and the first one, a lot of guys kind of didn't know what to expect, and then word got back out to a lot of other guys. But man, we see each other, man, and it just lets you know that this game is more than just a game. You know what I mean? It's more than just a game. It's the camaraderie, it's the friendship, it's
Absolutely.
brothers. I tell my daughter, my oldest, that's my youngest that was here earlier, but my oldest is she's 12 going on 13 this year, and so she got a chance to be in the locker room and stuff like that with the guys. And everybody is my brother. She came to me and was like, "Dad, is everybody your brother?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're all brothers." Like, my grandmother, Mom Bush, only has like you and Tori. I'm like, "Yeah, we're all brothers. We're all brothers and sisters." But man, that camaraderie, man, is just amazing. So I keep in touch with J Mac. I called Jarrell earlier this week and wished him good luck. A lot of guys that play in the league that are still playing, definitely try to reach out to them and wish them luck on the upcoming season. So
that's amazing, man. And it's just those lifelong friendships that, I mean, just make it all worth it, for the rest of your life. You got those guys that are, like you said, are like brothers.
Oh, definitely.
So we'll talk about the linebackers coming in to this 2020 season. The Titans have a really good duo there on that inside linebacker, Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown. And, hearing this from you, because, you had an NFL career that a lot of players dream of, there's a lot of people that don't make it more than 1 year playing in the NFL, or they don't even make it that far. So just having that success for, 3 years, that just goes to show, your knowledge of the game and your ability to play. What do you think about these guys that the Titans have going into this next season?
Superstars, young superstars in the making in the new era of linebacking. First of all, Williard, hats off to him. And you don't talk about these two guys, and these two guys don't. I don't think they grow the way that they grow without Williard being in that locker room with them, and showing him the ropes. That's the same way with me. David Thornton, Keith Bulluck, Stephen Tully, they showed me the ropes. They showed me the ropes, and to have a great mentor definitely helps the growth of a young linebacker. And so that's one thing that I definitely can say about them too. About big. First of all, I call him Grown Man Evans. That's a grown man. Brown. Those guys, man, they play hard. They play hard. They play hard. Like I mean, I love watching them. I love watching them play. First of all, I remember coming to games watching Jayon Brown and watching him on the sideline, and the energy that this guy had before he was starting inside linebacker was amazing. Was amazing, whether he was in the game or on the sideline. And I remember the first time I saw him, and I'm like, man, this guy is going to be good. This guy needs opportunity. Like, man, just, hey, stay on track. And it's just humbling to see a guy like that have the success that he had last year. That was amazing. And he well-deserved. Mr. Evans, man, he's just, I mean, everything that you would want when you draft him, everything that you want when you draft him. The guy is hungry to learn. One of the biggest things that when you draft that you gotta kind of be weary of drafting high is what is the motivation of the player? Is the player, happy to be first round draft pick, second round draft pick, or like if you go back to who did I say? Oh man, if you go back to those late round draft picks, my man that's coming from there, guy's going to have a chip on his shoulder right off the bat. Or is he going to have this man? Grown man Evans plays like he got a chip on his shoulder, like he's got stuff to prove, and that's awesome. That's awesome because you're going to continue to grow not only as a player but as a student of the game, and that's going to allow him to continue to get better and better. I really love their attitude, man. I just love to watch them play. When you watch them play, it looks like they love hitting people. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm a linebacker. I love hitting people. I play defense for a reason. They love the game, man. They love the game, and you can feel that passion the way they play. You can feel that excitement. When you look at that play that Evans made in New England on the goal line,
Yep.
Come on, I was jumping up in my room. I love that, and they're young, so oh man, the skies is the limit for those guys, man, and I know they're holding each other accountable. I know, man, I know how the Titans, I know Coach Brable does a great job with that defense, and you can tell, man, from the defensive line to the secondary, units play well together. And those two feed off of each other. When those two are in the game, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. And they take turns. Who's going to make what play. And you can depend on both of them. And they complement each other so well. They complement each other so well at that inside position. One might, you got Rashaan Evans, who's a lot bigger. You got Jevon Brown, a more athletic linebacker, play on third down, play in different situations. And when you got that dynamic and that difference, but you guys are working together and you guys are helping each other out, man, I tell you what, man, my expectations for them are high. I told somebody today, I think this is a breakout year for Mr. Evans. I do. I do. I can see Pro Bowl. I can see him gaining respect. I already know he's got the respect in the locker room, but I can see him starting getting respect from other guys in the NFL.
And just nationally,
right.
from the media.
Guys in the NFL. And I know that Jevon Brown definitely has he's definitely got some respect from other guys in the NFL. That's one thing that a lot of players can tell you. The film doesn't lie. The film doesn't lie. And you can watch a TV copy of the game with the announcers and they're panning in and out. But when you watch that game film where you're seeing everything, and you're seeing everything develop, and you're seeing guys make plays consistently over and over. That starts to warrant respect throughout the rest of the league, you know, because we all know what good football looks like, and we all respect each other. And that's something that I guarantee you that those two guys, you know, those two guys are going to start getting. They're definitely going to start getting that.
Yeah, and I mean, just the you said that they just love the game. I mean that just the fact that they love the game, that shows up in the stat sheet just because of the hours that they're able to put in on film and just the way that they're able to put themselves out there and give 110% because this is it's just something that they love and something they're so passionate about.
Definitely, most definitely. And I know I left one guy, David Long, that came in that filled
in. He's
in.
Great. He's great.
Yeah, so you know, and definitely gotta mention him because that's the young guy. That's the young guy, and I like it, and it goes back to what I said when you guys first asked me this question, man. First of all, man, without Mr. Woodyard, you know, I don't think this group is the group moving forward. You know what I mean? I definitely think that he has played a huge and vital impact on these young men in their early stages of their career to give them all the knowledge that he has had and to help them succeed and to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. So, you know, like that, and that you can't ask for nothing more than that. And you got a vet like Woodyard. He's teaching these guys how to lead, and you already got guys like Jayon Brown, who, you know, late round draft, not a late round draft pick, you know, but, you know, not a first round draft pick. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and you got Rashawn Evans that, you know, hurt his first year, and definitely has some things that, you know, I definitely know he wanted to prove, and these guys are playing. You know, they're playing with motivation, man. They're playing with a reason, and I guarantee you, it's probably to win the Super Bowl. Because I mean, that's the same reason that I played, and I know that these guys are probably doing the same thing, if not more. If not more, like you said, it shows up on the stat sheet, man. You got David Long that's only going to continue to grow. And this core, man, this core can be really good. This core can be really good. It can be really good, really good, really good.
Yeah, I think this will be the year. I just see them coming out and actually, kind of like Tanner said, getting the national recognition that they deserve. You know, which I guess as Titans fans, we're kind of used to it. You know, just being put on the back burner, you know, not being talked about as much, even after going to the AFC Championship game last year and then coming back out this year. And, you know, everyone, well, I think they'll go 8-8, you know, 9-7. And just, I think these guys are going to come out looking to prove something and get the recognition that they deserve.
Yep.
And, you know, like you talked about with the having the veteran presence there to help these younger guys develop, you know, that's something we've talked about before. And especially even now, if you were to go back to looking at the secondary, bringing in Jonathan Joseph and having Christian Fulton coming in, you know, me and Tanner talked about that, how, you know, even if Joseph doesn't play that much, the wisdom that he can give these younger guys, because, you know, another thing we talked about, you're not always going to have that speed and that quick first step. You know, you have to learn how to adapt to the game. And when you lose that first and possibly second step, still be able to be in the position you need to be in.
Yep. And I mean, I was talking about Mr. Woodyard and the wisdom he left, and you know, that's just on the inside linebacker group. They got leadership in that back end. Kevin Byard and my strong safety. You know, is it Kenny
Vaccaro? Yeah,
Vaccaro.
I want to make sure I didn't say Velasco. But I mean, you got leadership in that. The biggest, you know, like I said, the biggest thing that you lost is really, you know, you lose Logan Ryan, that's a blow. You lose Logan Ryan, that's a blow. That's a blow. That's a blow. That's a blow. Hey, that is a group, man. And you lose a guy that does it right. That's a role model, not only outside the community, but in your locker room for younger guys to see how to do it right. The success and everything that he's had that didn't come by luck. That came by preparation. But you lose the blow on the defensive line with Casey. So my take is who is that guy to keep that part going? Do they have it? I know they have it. I know they have it. It's gonna be fun to watch who is that person. They probably
who steps up.
Yeah.
Like they and I say that to doubt that that's not there, because I know that Coach Vrabel and those guys are coaching leadership from every single position, every single role, and it may not be from somebody who we may see or who the media thinks it should be. So I'm anxious to see who that guy is.
I hope it's Daquan Jones.
You got that. You got Big Jeff. You got Beasley that I'm pretty sure wants to prove something, and you never know. Like there's somebody else. There's somebody else emerged. So the thing about that I said, when you lose Casey, you lose consistency. And I think a lot of people, like we are comfortable and we're okay with consistency, you know what I mean? Because you know what you're going to get, and that's hard to come by. That's hard to come by in an inconsistent type of game that we play, you know what I mean? Like anything can happen. So to have somebody with that consistency at that high level, to go to consistent Pro Bowls, who is, Walter Payton Man of the Year, and the guy, that you lose a lot, you lose a lot. So I'm interested to see who steps up on that group, on that front end, that secondary. That secondary, man, that's a strong front. You still got Malcolm Butler, he's been to the Super Bowl.
Huge play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, about to say, made the play that, got them the Super Bowl, really.
Super Bowl. So, and a lot of people, might say, okay, yeah, but his age and things of that nature. I'm like, yeah, but one thing you can't teach experience.
Mm-hmm.
You can't teach experience, and it goes back to what you guys were saying. When you lose that step, are you able to use your knowledge and that wisdom and that experience to maybe detail or craft your game to still keep you ahead of the game, and things of that nature? Like he's what we would have called a savvy vet. Malcolm Butler's a savvy vet.
Mm-hmm.
He's game battle tested. So you still got you have him. Christian Fulton should just bring new energy. It just goes back to what you guys were asking me earlier. The preseason games, you don't get the preseason games. How many reps is it going to take him to get to where he's comfortable, and confident? I think a lot of people can say the same thing about Adoree Jackson, where he is looking more confident, more comfortable at that corner position, and looking more like a number one cornerback. So, it's going to go back to how many reps is he going to need to get to be ready. But like I told you guys, this plays for a great story to make you want to watch it all. You know what I mean? Like if anything, you're excited. You know what I mean? You're just excited. Because you're like, man, okay, all right. I got the Apple TV. Okay, I'm getting new channels. Let's see what this is about. So it's still early. It's still early with all the stuff coming down. Still don't know when training camp and stuff is going to be, but
hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully,
just ready for football to be back.
I am too. I definitely am too. But man, that Titan linebacker core, that secondary, that defensive line, I am I am definitely interested in to watch them this year. I think everybody has the expectations for the offense because you kind of know for the most part a lot of guys come back. So most people are going to say we want to pick off where we left off at, and then move on for the defense. There are going to be some new pieces that are going to have to play a valuable role, and definitely just anxious to see how that goes. You know what I mean? Like I really think it can go great. I really do think it can go great. I think they got the right pieces in that linebacker position, man. Linebacker position, that's where it starts, man. Those two guys right there, them two guys I want to be playing with right there for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to be excited about, man. And listen, me and Tyler, we want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking with us. This has just been an absolute blast. I mean, it's been amazing. You don't even understand how much this means to us. So we want to say thank you so much for this.
No, man, thank you guys for reaching out. Told Mr. Titan same thing, man. Like the game is what it is because of you guys. The game is what it is because of you guys. I played high school ball, played college ball. It's good. That NFL ball, you guys asking me about the plays, like, man, to be in the stadium, man. Man, man, go Titans, go. And you hear that, it, big play, big touchdown, and like that's a dream come true, guys, man. That's the dream that I had since I was little. And that dream would not have been as great if it wasn't for the fans. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for the fans, you guys made my NFL experience what it was. You guys made me playing the NFL important to me because of the impact that you guys play on the game. And like I told you guys, man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the game myself, man. I could be 60, 65 years old. Man, I'm gonna be at football games. I'm gonna be at games just like a normal fan, man, because I love the game and I know what it means to so many people, man. And I know the dedication. I know the sacrifices, and I know the commitment that you guys as fans, you guys give us. You guys give us every single day. I know that. I know even more now that I'm not even playing more. I know every single day is Titans, 365 Tennessee Titan. And man, I appreciate that. I really do. From the bottom of my heart. So anytime you guys want me on, man, you guys hit me up. I love to talk football. I can talk football till I'm blue in the face, till I'm blue in the shirt. So
yeah, I was about to say, we definitely want to have you back on, many more times, I'm sure. And, it meant a lot to us. We've messaged several guys, and I sent you the message on Twitter about, coming on. And as soon as I seen your reply, I was texting Tanner and it's like, hey, I got someone for us. We've both been really excited about this. And like he said, it was an honor to have you on, man. And we really appreciate it.
I mean, it's something I really could have never seen myself say just like even 6 months ago in a situation like this where I have an opportunity to just have this kind of conversation with someone that has been in the NFL and has done the things that you have.
Yeah, I mean, you've given us so much insight on, what it's like to be out there on the field and going through, the combine, the draft, all of that. I mean, it's just been a great experience for us to be able to talk to you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it, man. And that's what I love about doing this, because everybody has a different perspective. Like at the end of the day, man, I'm just a 4th round draft pick, a kid that I I went to a small school over a bigger school, or a so-called small school over a bigger school. And I've always had that chip on my shoulder, and I've always been that underdog. And so, man, my dream to go to the NFL, man, I'm a fan, you know, like, and I don't really associate myself as the player, you know. I just love the game. And so, you know, I appreciate these interactions with you guys, man, because the love of the game that you guys have, man, I got it. And that's special, you know what I mean? So any insight that I can give you guys, and all I can give you is my opinion and how it affected me. You know, like I said, 4th round draft pick. Like, I wasn't a 1st round draft pick or anything like that. But man, I did get a chance to play a few games. So, and I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being part of the greatest fan base and NFL history. Hopefully we can get the NFL draft back here again, and we can do some more things, man. I love interacting with you guys, man. You guys rock, man. Y'all rock. Y'all just rock.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
I'm hoping we can get the draft back here again too.
Hey, maybe soon.
me and my now wife, we actually went last year. I think it was the last day of the draft, and you know, things had calmed down just a little bit from the first couple of days, but it was an awesome experience.
Yes.
We want to thank you guys for watching. That was our interview with former Tennessee Titan Gerald McRath. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, because we definitely had a blast recording it, and we want to thank Gerald for coming on, because he was definitely a great guest and he's a great guy.
Yeah, we loved having him on. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the post notifications, leave us some comments, let us know how we're doing, anything else you might want to hear, and like the video.
Make sure that you check us out on Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. Check out our Twitter, @Titans_time. And check out our podcast on the Apple Podcast app, or whatever app you use to listen to your podcast. It is the Titans Time Podcast. Check out our website and blog, where we post articles pretty much daily. That's titanstimepodcast.com. Once again, thanks for watching.